Dear friends, I started my spiritual journey in the year 1996. So it happened like that. But when I read the Osho magazine for the first time, I came to know my inner urge, what exactly I am going through. Because I want to know beyond this physical existence at that time, why all these things happen to me? Because every personality who is coming into this, especially in the spiritual journey, there is some background. Somewhere we used to shift our entire being. That means one incident which changed my entire viewpoint of the life. That is when I was listening a music. It's a qawwali. Qawwali means the Pakistani qawwali. It's a mix with Urdu and Hindi. The Pakistani singer who is singing the qawwali, that shaped my entire being. Because the meaning, in that meaning, the song meaning is, it goes like this. चढ़ता सूरज धीरे धीरे चढ़ता है ढल जाएगा. That means the sun rises and again it ends. The song starts like this. And slowly, the meaning of the song, it takes us to the law of impermanence. The law of impermanence means there was a Akbar, there was a Babur, and the great kings, their kingdoms, and the elephants, and the horses, and their entire kingdom, everything gone just into the dust. So there are so many meaning in that, like just karma theory. Jaisi karni vaisi bharni aaj tu pachtaega. That means whatever you do, whatever you did, all your past karmas, an entire thing is going like that. That song particular Kavali shaped my entire being when I was just 15 years old. After listening this, there was a search. When I came to know this, when I practiced my meditation and then had this thing, when I traveled almost 2 or 3 years, then I collected all these things. Where my journey started, because the first incident, the Kavali shaped my entire being, because the entire song is the law of impermanence. When I read the Buddha's Dhammapada, then I came to know what the singer was explaining the things. So that incident slowly, then those are the roots. So my dear friends, that was my initial stages when I heard the song. Then from there my journey began actually. Then after 2 or 3 years, slowly I was searching for even I don't know that particularly meditation and enter all these things. Just I was searching. At that time, I read a book called Chakras by Leadbeater, the Theosophical Society's movement, the great master Leadbeater, his book on chakras. I read that, but I know there is some deeper meaning in it, but I did not understand properly what exactly. Only the 50% I understood, and the rest of the thing is because I don't know meditation and anything. Later, after 2 or 3 months, again I come across a book, a small magazine called Osho Times. The great master, the Osho Times, and in that, when I saw the cover page of the magazine, something pulled me from inside. Yes, I want to buy this. I want to read this because there is a title on it: meditation and understanding your mind. There are so many topics. So immediately I purchased the magazine. I went through it and I started reading it immediately. When I started reading, I don't know what exactly meditative state, but when I was reading those words about meditation, the master explaining about the meditation and the mind and beyond the mind, and I went into a trance without knowing myself. So that was my first glimpses. Then I was continuously reading the same book. Every month I used to go to the supermarket. Sir, I need this book. I want the next issue. I want the next issue. Then after 2 or 3 issues, the the owner of the supermarket is my family friend. He asked me, "Hey Babu, are you doing any meditation or what? Because I am keeping the 20 magazines here. Nobody is buying. Every month only the one magazine you are taking, you are purchasing it, and the rest of the 19 magazines I am giving it to the center of the Osho Madana Center, back to the same center. Only you are the only person who is just doing some kind of interest, showing some kind of interest." Then I said, "Sir, I am searching for it actually. I want to do meditation." Then he said about first and the Patriji, and he is a friend of Dr. Newton, and he said all about the few things about the meditation and things. He said he invited me to his house. There is a small session every Saturday we are conducting in our house. Just please come. He invited me. That was the first entry of my listening into meditation. Then on the next Saturday, I went to, because there was so much excitement, and I started meditation. Just Dr. Newton, first time I met Dr. Newton there, and he guided me just 5 minutes, and very simple. Just observe your breath. That's it. He didn't guide it in entire 1 hour also. Just 5 minutes, he guided, and just silence. That's it. Once I started, first I thought, what is this? Only observing the breath. I thought something else, something great things, something that I want to learn something great, but the technique is very simple. Then whatever, I started doing meditation after 15 or 20 minutes. Then slowly I started going inwards, because the mind is slowly calming down. Once when I reached a state where there is no mind at all, there is no mental chatter at all, then my whole consciousness, my energy shifted into the different dimension. I was watching, I was clearly seeing the Himalayas from where I sat. I'm able to hear the sounds from the outside, the balcony. There is the small noises surrounded by me in the complex, and simultaneously I was seeing the clear vision of the Himalayas. I was going to the Himalayas like a movie from the third eye. It's a so thrilling experience, because I don't know all these things earlier, because I was closing my eyes and doing meditation, and there is no mind to think about all these things, and simultaneously I was watching the movie. So something great happened to me, and there was lots and lots of new kind of energy floods into my system. Then after meditation, I explained all these things to Dr. Newton, and he encouraged me to do regular meditation. That day in the year 1996, March, I started my journey like that, my dear friends. And from that day, I never looked back till today, because what I want to experience, what I want to see beyond, and everything I experience it personally, and so many theoretically and personally, through the simple technique called Anapanasati, breath meditation, or awareness of breath, whatever you call it, a simple technique. Let change my entire life, change my entire being so much, because I cannot explain in words. So that was my journey after starting the initial days. Almost first 3 years, my research in the sense regular meditation continuously. Almost I used to start around night 11 o'clock till morning 2 or 3 o'clock, only 2 hours sleep in between. And again I used to wake up, again I used to start meditation This is my regular entire day part. I used to read lots and lots of books. Books means what not. First 1 year I started Osho books. I started entire Osho philosophy. I completed entire Osho philosophy. Then I started Carlos Castaneda, Say, and so many all New Age literature. I finished almost 20th century, the great literature from the philosophy and the spiritual books, all the great books and the great masters. What is there, whatever the published in the market, I read all those books. First 3 years, my research part, and simultaneously continuing my research and meditation, and simultaneously I used to develop literature. Whenever Patriji used to come to Hyderabad, when I met first time, I want to tell how the things happen. After 1 month of my meditation, I met Patriji. When he came to Hyderabad, he was first time when I met, because he was explaining the Bhajagovindam. When I entered, when I saw him the first time, there is a glimpses, yes, he is my master. He is my master. That means he is for me. Everybody will get some kind of intuition or something, the inner flashes like that. So the instantly I came to that, this is the master I am searching for. Then I met him, I explained all these things, and he encouraged me like anything. Because whenever he used to come to Hyderabad, it's like a festival for me. It's a festival, really. Almost 3 years, I was moving. I'm just like a member of his family. 3 years. Whenever he came to, I never thought he's a separate family for me. Whenever I go to him, he was so much wisdom. I used to sit in front of him almost sometimes midnight, early morning, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock also. Because he used to explain so many concepts. There was no disciples like this. Thousands of members, very few members were there. We used to sit and we used to tell so many things. So that was my first initial journey. Then from 2002 to 2003, I started moving with Patriji along with Sai Reddy, his personal secretary, to the North India to take meditation classes, to arrange different parts of North India. So 2000 to 2003, I moved like that with Patriji. And one fine day, when we were traveling from Dehradun to Delhi, in the night, he asked me to, Venu, we are going to start a magazine called Spiritual India. First he said Pyramid India, then slowly came into the Spiritual India. And he asked Sai Reddy to shift his entire family to Hyderabad. He was residing in Tirupati at that time. And together we started the magazine Spiritual India. The first copy released in the year 2003 on November 11th, on Patriji's birthday. So that's how I started my literature into the great magazine called Spiritual India. There are so much. Every issue we introduced one master like Osho, Ramana Maharshi, and so many great saints are there. Paramahamsa Yogananda, Swami Muktananda, Swami Chinmayananda. They are great masters and they did so much work. They did so much research. They did so much practice, sadhana, and all those things. And we used to dedicate one issue, each and every issue for a particular master, because I used to collect all the information, because I read all these great masters' life stories and their journeys. So it's easy for me to collect all the material from different sources and put together in a different format of their life and teachings and their entire journey in the field of spirituality. And I used to publish and collect articles and incorporate in the Spiritual India. And not only that particular master, so many concepts like vegetarianism, pyramid energy, and not only so many new age concepts like past lives, future lives, astral body, third eye, seven bodies, telekinesis, teleportation. Not only one or two, of all the 360 degrees of subjects we are used to collect different articles from throughout the world. Great masters are there. So I used to interpret all these articles in the magazine Spiritual India. Then in the year 2010, we started Spiritual Science. Again, one more magazine. Patriji asked me to continue this magazine is for science and spirituality. A master who did his research in almost 20 or 30 years in a particular field, like brain wise in past lives. And there are so many masters, and so many new age masters like Joe Dispenza, Bruce Lincoln, Richard Gerber. All these great masters, their research into the field of this great new age movement, their research, we used to publish all their articles and their life and teachings in Spiritual Science magazine. So this is my work, my dear friends. So today I want to give some glimpses of the science of consciousness, whatever I experienced and I understood. I want to share few things. So in the science of consciousness, my dear friends, the ground reality of entire creation is the consciousness itself. It's a pure, or whatever you call it, a Brahman or God or invisible, whatever we call, it is called a pure consciousness. You can name it as 1,000 names of God. From there, everything, the creation starts. Everywhere, the nook and corners of the entire creation starts from the ground reality is called consciousness. It's a pure consciousness, or you can say name it as a Brahman. That is why great yogis, whoever they experience and gone deeper into themselves, not only deeper and deeper into themselves. As Buddha says, Shunya, not only Shunya, Mahaparishunya. Mahaparishunya means going deeper and deeper and deeper, where they experience themselves as the greater reality is called Brahman. That's why they call it Aham Brahmasmi. When they experience themselves, the reality which they are experiencing in the lower dimensions, and they are experiencing their own part of their higher dimension fields, is called a pure consciousness, where there is no mass at all. It is empty and simultaneously it is full. It is full of light. So, dear friends, this is the science of consciousness where we come from. We are all in the physical bodies because of that consciousness. We descended from there as a small tentacles, or we can call it as a soul. Everyone, most of the persons knows as a soul, but we divided ourselves from that greater part of our own self, because the invisible one want to experience the visible reality. The non-physical one want to experience the physical one. The invisible one want to experience the visible reality. The greatest one, the permanent one, want to experience the impermanent reality. That's why we are here, my dear friends. When we leave from our parental self, called overself, we come here, a small tentacle, and we want to experience all the physical reality to the dense part of our own self. So, this is the background because the consciousness is the fundamental reality of whole existence, my dear friends. The consciousness is the fundamental reality of the whole existence. Not only our physical bodies, the entire nature, the entire planets, and the entire cosmos, the entire creation. Everywhere, from the small dust particles to the small animals to the plant beings, the mineral kingdom, plant kingdom, animal kingdom, human kingdom, Deva kingdom, everywhere. That's why Master Jesus, the great master, said, in my Father's kingdom, there are number of mansions because the consciousness, the invisible one, created so much. The entire visible and invisible realities, everything exists from there itself. So part of that creation, he want to experience the physical part of his own self. The invisible one want to experience the visible part of his own self. He want to experience the physical reality. That's why we are here. This is the main background. The ground reality is the consciousness itself or Brahman itself. There is no two realities, my dear friends. There is only one. What Adi Shankaracharya said is the invisible is the real one. The visible is illusion. Brahma Satyam, Jagam Mithya means, Mithya means you are not able to see the physicality, you are not able to experience what exactly in physical things. In the physical things also, there is a consciousness. Why he said is, you are not able to recognize the energy inside the material. That's what he said, Mithya. But there is no Mithya. A person who is enlightened, who is gone through all his experiences, who experienced the greater reality of his own self, he cannot see where there is there is Maya at all. In my experience, there is no Maya in entire creation. Because illusion never exists. Only one thing exists, the play of consciousness. I can say the play of consciousness. That is where there is no Maya, my dear friends. There is only play of consciousness. Leela is there. Maya is not there. Leela means play of consciousness. From there, the non-physical part of our own self, everything exhibits, everything happens, everything, the creation begins. It's a play. It's a play of consciousness. Not any kind of illusion is there, my dear friends. Even in the material things also, we feel that it is a material, but in a quantum physics, if I can say, in quantum physics, from that point of view, as the wave particles disappear into the wave dies, when the wave collapses and it becomes a particle, similarly, a particle disappears and particle collapses, it becomes a wave. When the wave particles collapses and when it collapses, you can see the material. When it collapses in material form, it goes into the wave form. So the two are one only. We can see, we can experience the physicality, we can see the physical things, any physical thing, everything is the material and the non-material, both are one, my dear friends. It looks like a separated, but it never separated. Directly or indirectly, everything is connected. Connected to the greater reality. Connected to the higher reality. Even when you come down to the earth, even when you leave your parental self, the higher self, you always connected to that part. You never, even knowingly or unknowingly. Either you are spiritual or a non-spiritual, or you are a beggar or a prime minister. There is no difference at all. You always connected to the greater self, whatever. You may feel the some part of separation for the time being, but you never separated in a higher dimensional view or a bird view. All right? From the perspective of higher self. You never separated at all. No one in the entire planet. That is why When the realized one comes and comes to the know all these things, experientially, slowly, the things will change. That's where they are different. The enlightened people are different because there are so many changes than ordinary human beings because they know the connectivity. They know that they are not separate. That's why they said, I am the Brahman. I am God. I am that. Nisargadatta Maharaj says, the great book is there, on Advaita. I am that. From the Nisargadatta, the great book, everyone must read that book. That's why I am that I am. I am Brahman. Aham Brahmasmi. All these words came why this coming to the mainstream of spirituality because they experience something which is a common human being cannot see. But the reality is same for everyone. So, my dear friends, why we are experiencing all these things nowadays, wherever we are going, wherever, everywhere the spiritual field is going, because the light age has come. Everyone can experience just by doing meditation. Whatever we are experiencing, we are hearing all these things. We can experience our own self. Your greater part of yourself. It's very easy now because we spent most of our lifetimes in the darker ages. That means in the galactic night. Now we are in a galactic day. That means the energies are floating in the entire planet Earth. Whoever is ready to experience this thing, they can experience the greater reality by just doing meditation, sadhana. Everywhere the spiritual things are going on, the entire planet is becoming day by day more and more spiritual. Because of this, we are entering into the galactic day. The galactic night is over. Most of the souls who are experiencing, who are incarnated now, they spend most of their lifetimes in the darker ages. Darker ages means nothing but you are away from your own source field. We are traveled from our own source field, our own godly nature, our own self. We travel far away because in the dark ages we cannot go inside because we are more material. When there is a dark ages, when you are experiencing less energy, you naturally experience the more matter than energy. More matter, less wave. More particle and the less wave. Now our particle part is over. Now we are entering into the wave side. That means the more energy is coming into the whole planetary system is moving into the great light, the galactic light. That's where we are all experiencing. That's where we are here in front of. That's why all people are sharing continuously everywhere. The whole world is moving. This is what I observed because when I started my journey in the year 1996, from there till now, I experienced so much because past 10 years, there is so many changes. The whole world is moving into a vegetarianism, a veganism, and spiritualism. Past 4 or 5 years, every day by day it's multiplying. Earlier it was like 10 plus 10 equal to 20. Now it's 10 into 20 equal to 100. This is the phase now the spiritual movement is going on entire world. And the Pyramid Spiritual Society is one of the key movements to transform the humanity, to give the hand to whole world in so many different forms. I salute my master Brahmarshi Pitamaha, who did so much work for that. I just deviated my concept because I want to tell all these things. The changes is going on, and I'm experiencing it because I used to see few books in earlier days, up to 2000 and 2010 also, there were very few books. Now, so many authors are coming, so much spiritual floating is going on, so many websites, so many masters, so many organizations. All are voluntarily are working, and so much is going on, my dear friends. Whoever incarnated at this particular moment and being a member of light is really wonderful thing. So, my dear friends, that's why the consciousness and coming back to the source of light. So, this is how we descend from we leave our parental home, the consciousness, field of consciousness. We want to experience the material side of our own self, a darker side of our own self, lighter side of our own self. That's where we incarnated here to experience this dimension called physical reality. The non-physical part want to experience the physical part. The eternal one want experience the temporary field of existence is called physical reality. That's why we are here, my dear friends. Because here, when you come here, the karma facilitates to you to experience so many things. It's not a one lifetime. You are not a swift bird to come here and go back to your own higher self. It's not like that. You come here, you experience number of incarnations because you want to experience so many things. Female incarnations, male incarnations. You want to play so many roles because your parental self sends you to the lower dimensions as a king sent his son before taking his own position. His son to go and see how the kingdom, how it is there, nook and corners of the entire kingdom. Go and search, live like a normal life, and come back and become a king. Similarly, we also experience the same thing. We leave the greater reality, the non-physical part of our own self. We come down to experience the physical part. And we learn so many things. Every soul almost it takes 300 to 350 incarnations. So it happens naturally because there is no hurry in going back because experience counts. So in this journey, only one thing is not good because you cannot stuck up at one place. You can experience many incarnations, but you cannot stuck up at a small experiences called your attachments, your all these things. We incarnate, we prolong ourselves. That is where the suffering comes in. Otherwise, there is no suffering at all because you are suffering. So much suffering is that we are not evolved. We stuck up. When you stuck up, you don't learn so many things. Then you incarnated in that particular period many times. Many times in one family. You go, once you leave the body and come back to the same family, again if you moving into the same family almost 10 incarnations, you don't learn anything. That's why we stuck up. The eternal one don't want to stuck up in one place or one cage. You don't want to become, that is where the suffering comes. Otherwise, you are always free. The more experience, the more n number of incarnations you can experience all the fields. So when we come from that, the karma facilitates to experience. Karma is not a bad thing, my dear friends, because it facilitates the experience. Because when you come down from the baby soul and the baby, infant and baby soul, you experience so much because when the new soul comes into the earth area, you want to experience all the earthly experience very fast. By doing this kind of things, you create naturally in young soul, you create so much of karma. Karma means you want to experience more because of the excitement. You want to grab all the physical reality at once. By doing that, you may imbalance your own self, your energy fields. So the balance, to create a balance, the karma facilitates. So by doing all these things, slowly, you come to learn and experience after so many incarnations. When you become an old soul, naturally you want to go back to your own parental hood, what you experienced here, when you move around your own kingdom. You experienced all your great and lower dimensions and experience so much. Then slowly, your journey starts. That is called spirituality. Slowly, but because you experience enough the physical reality, then slowly the glimpse starts from your higher self. Yes, I want to go back. Then your spiritual journey starts. And once you start your spiritual journey, then naturally you will connect to the masters and the higher realities. Same thing, you experience whatever you experience, you share with all the godly nature to other beings. That is what Buddha did. Whatever he experienced, the entire his life, he got the same thing, meditation and middle path, the great middle path. So, my dear friends, this is the consciousness creates the reality. The number one, we are all part of that consciousness, and we are all, whenever you have plenty of time to experience in this physical dimension, in this great reality, you are always physical and non-physical. You are together one, and temporarily you feel that you are separated, but you are not at all separate, my dear friends. The whole thing is there, material and non-material, visible and invisible. Everything is one. Because you want to experience the contrast, that's why you are here. But when you want to experience the greater reality also, meditation is always there. So this is our background, the whole creation, the background is there. Then how we can ascend, how we can go back to the source. The easiest way is the meditation. We have to understand the part of what exactly the meditation, what we are doing here, how we can reach the greater heights of our own self, because we traveled far away from the source of light, the greater part of our own self, and we can go back whenever we want. So when you want to experience the greater part of your own self, meditation is the only doorway, because it gives you all the information of the creation and beyond creation. Everything gives, because the only one, the pure consciousness, if you want to go to the source, only one way is meditation, my dear friends. That's why the part of our own self, the great self, we want to know, we have to experience our greater self. The only way is meditation, my dear friends. So, my dear friends, we are going to that part slowly. How and what exactly we experience the greater side to. The descending order is over. Now we are going for the ascending order. As a human being, how we can experience after everything we'll come to know by the going through the science of meditation. When you do meditation, naturally you experience some kind of, because as I said, there was lots and lots of karmical issues for everyone. We used to think all these things by ingesting the energy, the higher energy. So, my dear friends, when we come here to experience the earth reality, when we divide ourselves, it cannot come just into the physical body just like that, because there is so much creation before we are coming to that well planned, well designed, everything from the causal planes, the supra-causal planes, the masters, the great ones designed everything for us to experience this reality, from the great one to the elementary kingdoms, elementary gods, elemental kings, and elemental gods, all these, from the higher energies to the elemental gods, everyone is there to support this physical reality. You just, when you divide from the source field, you create, just slow down your vibrational field by creating your subtle bodies, like a causal body, is the main source of your entire all the incarnations. Then slowly you come down another layer as a mental body, and again another layer is called astral body, and slowly through the etheric, then you create a physical form. You cannot come directly to the dense reality with the highest of your own self, because to enter into this particular field, the whole molecular structure, everything needs those kind of energy vibrations. Otherwise, you cannot materialize yourself. The great ones like Mahavtar Babaji and so many masters, they just physically disappear because of their own thought power. They just dissolve into themselves to the molecular field, then just divide themselves to their thought power, and they go into the higher dimensions. Whenever they want, they can come with the same physicality because they can create with a tremendous thought power. So similarly, the consciousness first divides like this. The process goes like this. The pure consciousness, then the thought, then the thought creates the energy to matter. Consciousness, thought, energy, matter. This is how we travel from the great source of light to the lower dimensions or the surface reality of our own self, the physical reality which we are experiencing. First the thought, then the slowly it transforms into the energy into matter. That's why our subtle bodies also creates, because the physical and the etheric and the astral and the mental and the causal and the supracausal. That's how we. This is our multi-layered personality is designed for. What a great creation behind this physical body. Even your physical body itself is a wonderful creation, my dear friends. There is a great things behind this creation, and so many masters, eons together, they are working every time, every period, every cycle of the earth. Naturally, there are so many changes into the bodies, into the cell structure, into your DNA. Everything naturally changes according to the energies which where what you are experiencing from the higher dimensions. According to the our physical model, our physical personality, our cell structure, our entire bone structure, everything changes according to that. When you are going to the higher frequency of life, naturally your cell structure, everything will changes. That's why we have all the whatever the karmic related issues we store into our non-physical and physical bodies. We will clear when you do meditation. Naturally, all the things will be cleansed, because the whole earth is going under the process. That means karmically going unburdened. Whoever is on the planet who are doing meditation or not they are not doing meditation also, they will experience there are so many changes in their bodies nowadays. Because the high frequency of light naturally, when it floods into your system, naturally all the dust, whatever is accumulated, either psychological or material or physical, or whatever it is, has to go out. When it go out, naturally the other new energy will establish, new consciousness will establish into your system, then you are on the path of light. This happens each and every person who is experiencing a regular meditation, who is doing a regular meditation. Naturally, everyone will experience all these things. So, my dear friends, this is the process on the greater reality. We experience through the thought, we create the energy, and the energy to matter. So, finally, we are in the material body. Now, I want to share the science of meditation part, because the greater side to we travel. I already spoke to you regarding the greater reality, how we create a physical bodies and how we incarnate in physical bodies, then now I want to share two things about meditation. So, my dear friends, in science of meditation, we experience naturally when you do meditation, this is the main topics in science of meditation: mind, science of brain, meditation, breath and meditation, and the three grand happenings. So this is our main topic now. We will move on to the mind part because I am talking about the mind because when you want to explore the reality behind this physical dimension, we need to cross this part. This is the main layer between the higher and the lower frequencies. That's why, my dear friends, see, the mind and body are one inseparably entangled. That means we are always experiencing the mind, part of our mind, not brain, my dear friends. We always experience our mind through our feelings and the thoughts. Whatever happens in the mind, naturally it appears in the mind. Whatever happens in the mind naturally appears in the body because the energies flows from the non-physical to the physical. As water goes down towards downwards, similarly, when the non-physical part of your own self, the mental part of your own ripples, naturally it affects the body. If you are sad, naturally anybody can say you are sad, but because your body is not a sad moment, because the mind ripples. Whatever happens in the mind, naturally it reflects in the body. Either you are a good mood or bad mood, whatever the emotions you are experiencing mentally, naturally, the ripples carries, then your body experiences that. Nothing is happening in the body as it is. It is happening in the non-physical part, then it is coming into the physical part. The ripple we are creating in the mental arena, then it travels to the body. Because these two are entangled, it's always one unit. We experience body objectively and we experience mind subjectively. Body, you can see the body objectively, but you cannot see the mind because it is the subjective part. It is an invisible part. You go to a doctor and ask him to give me my mind. Nobody, no doctor in the world cannot give you their mind. Why? Because it is a part of non-physical part. It is in the soul arena. Everything travels, comes from that. The signals, like a mobile phone. You can see the objective with the mobile instrument, but you cannot see the signals where it is coming from. Similarly, you experience your mental waves because naturally your body experiences each and every part of your mind, your emotions. So together it is one unit. So what happens? Most of the time, now we'll come to the towards it means the mind is sum total of all our thoughts. Why we experience so much of suffering and so much of disturbances in our day-to-day life? Because every day, every human being experiences, releases 60,000 thoughts per a day, knowingly or unknowingly. Either these thoughts are either the past or about the future, because the mind doesn't know about what exactly in the present. You want to experience, if you want to go to the meditative state, you have to cross this barrier. You have to withdraw yourself totally from the material mind, the concrete mind, the jungle mind, the monkey mind. You have to pull all these things, withdraw from all these mental activities, then the journey starts. Otherwise, nothing will happen. This is the area where the meditation chips in, my dear friends, because you have to trust. See, the mind, when you are a restless and wanders around through the incessant flow of it, that means the wasteful, irrelevant mind creates lots and lots of disturbances. Most of the people, they experience through the emotionally or mentally, because thoughts creates emotions and the emotions creates again thoughts. This is the loop we always experience in day-to-day life, because we feel it is a real thing. As I told you, there is nothing like an illusion. Only illusion is your mind. The material things, everything, nothing is illusion, my dear friends. As I said, everything is Leela, not Maya. Only the mind part of your own mind, which always jumps from one part to another part continuously, creating inner chatter, that is called illusion, where you cannot see yourself, as you can see here, as the moon part of your own self. This is your clear mind. When it disturbs, you cannot see your own self, who you are exactly. When you are disturbed mentally, naturally, your consciousness fluctuates. Actually, you are a pure being, a pure being of light. But when you come to experience the earth reality, the mind is a great tool to experience all these things. But when it is not clear, when it is not in a proper way, when you train your mind properly, then it creates, you believe that your mind is you, there the problem starts. The mind is not you. You and your mind is totally different. Only by going through beyond your mind, then only you will come to know what exactly the mind is. Because by doing meditation, you can travel through the mind, you can experience in your mind, you can go beyond your mind. When you go beyond your mind, the mind goes into the observer part. When it comes down, it becomes you. That means you feel yourself, your mind is you. But when you do meditation, when you go beyond your mind, you know that you are observing everything. It happens naturally every meditator. The same mind transforms into the higher reality where you can observe everything, because your mind is not you. Slowly, slowly, you will get all the grip on your mind, my dear friends. So the inner chatter always creates fluctuates your consciousness. When the consciousness fluctuates, you are not in proper position, because when it fluctuates, all your subtle bodies, including your physical body, disturbs. Because the energy from the higher fields, from the lower fields, everything disturbs, because there is no unity in the lower dimensions. Because when the mind fluctuates, naturally you receive less energy, because most of the energy it utilizes for its own thinking process, because you use lots of energy through the mind. You can see here the natural and restless irrelevant patterns of the mind results a great unwanted dissipation of the energy of the soul. 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, 50 years, we use mind like as the mind itself is you. Not knowing what exactly you are doing, the entire incarnation will spend on just on this tag called mind. Because you believe that as a social structure where the mind exhibits everything, you collect all the things and you experience, not knowing that your mind is not you. You experience all the entire incarnation based on your mind, mental vibrations. Because you lose lots and lots of energy every time, because when the mind is not clear. Now we see when the energy of the soul is dissipated, the physical body becomes weak and more susceptible to attacks, because when you are less energetic, naturally the physical body attacks to so many viruses for so many things. That's why World Health Organization says 90% of the diseases, whatever happening in the world, is the psychosomatic. It is related to the mind, my dear friends. Most of the diseases are related to mind because when the mind is not clear, when the mind is disturbed, when you experience lower kind of frequencies, when it disturbs, in lack of energy, naturally your physical body gets weakened. It happens naturally. In meditation, it reverses because when you do meditation, you receive abundant energy. The energy floods to the entire your system. Naturally, the healing process starts. The journey goes back. Your journey starts towards the energy part of your own self. See, the naturally the restless mind is common in a lot of all persons. What we do not make any efforts consciously because we never do any cultivation part of our mind unless we come to the meditation. Otherwise, the mind won't listen. Most of the persons they don't want to cultivate because as a person, as a as uncultivated land, naturally becomes full of unwanted weeds. Similarly, your mind also. If you don't cultivate properly your mind, naturally after years together, it happens because it's one full of weeds. Anyone can experience very few thoughts in a day-to-day life. We need a very few thoughts only, but unwantedly we continuously we jump to one point to another point, another point to another point. We don't stay stable at all because we believe that what is going inside in the mind, we believe that it is you. So, my dear friends, cultivation and the purification of one's raw mind is absolutely essential and is foundation stone of the mansions that contributes to one's spiritual progress, my dear friends. Not only spiritual progress, spiritual and material, everything. Cultivation and purification is very essential. Each and every person. When you cultivate and purify naturally, your mind will think in a proper way. We produce only whatever we need. Your mind illuminates when you cultivate through meditation. When you cultivate, when you purify through meditation, you don't harm anybody. You don't kill animals. You don't disturb anyone. You don't disturb plant kingdom, animal kingdom, mental kingdom, any part of. Because you come to know the non-interference of everything, slowly you will develop the great qualities. An uncultivated mind always goes into the different ways. It's a cruel mind. It becomes very cruel. They follow the tendencies of the social structure, but don't understand what exactly natural laws, the nature laws. Even though you are a great human being, incarnated from the higher dimensions, when you come to the field called a particular field, you have to respect, you have to give, you have to know the field where the natural laws, you have to go through the process, you have to abide all this, you have to understand all these laws of the nature, laws of your own self. Only when the mind slows down, when the mind disappears, you will come to know all these things. When the mind purifies, you will come to know all these things. Why a meditator cannot eat meat? Why a regular meditator cannot harm anybody? Because naturally all these things happens. You do not create anything, it naturally happens. When the mind purifies, all the great qualities, like all the Brahma Viharas, happens naturally. Someone need not to train you. Hey, you have to show karuna, mudita, because it happens naturally when you do regular meditation and purify your mind. Maitri, all these things happens naturally because when you purify your mind, all the good qualities naturally comes out. Only thing is regular meditation by slow down your mental activity, go beyond your mind. I have to totally go beyond your mind, otherwise nothing will happen, my dear friends. So that is why the great Rishi Patanjali says only one. You find a simple way: yoga, chitta, vritti, nirodha. Most of the person they know this. But again, we'll come to know this is the main. Simply, he said, yoga means chitta, vritti, nirodha. This is the fundamental principle. Whatever the process, wherever you are doing, whatever you are doing, this should be in your mind always. Chitta, vritti, nirodha. Because he defined very simply. Chitta means the total mind stuff. Whatever the mind stuff, the entire your life's mind is there. The entire mind stuff is called chitta. Consciously, subconsciously, it is there always. Subconsciously, the entire chitta is there. When you experience the mind, when you use your mind, either the past 10 years or 15 years, any childhood experiences also, whenever it comes to your memory, you think. When you think, the chitta becomes vritti. It comes into action. The energy, the doormat energy comes into action. You are giving the ignition to that. And naturally, it becomes vritti. That means you are sending the energy out by thinking. Chitta means entire your mind stuff. Vritti means giving the force of that energy to thinking part. When you think, it naturally it becomes a vritti. Nirodha means to stop. Chitta means entire your mind stuff. Vritti means actions of your mind. When it comes to action, nirodha means to stop. You have to stop all your mental activity slowly by observing the breath itself. This is where the meditation comes. This is the definition of meditation. That's it. Very simple. Yoga means chitta. You have to stop your entire mental activity whenever you do meditation, whenever you are going to prepare yourself doing meditation. Yes, I don't want to entertain anything for this 1 hour or 2 hours or half an hour, whatever, even 5 minutes also. When you decide yourself, when you make intent yourself, yes, I am going to do this, by making yourself intent, a clear intent, yes, this is the thing, because we know the theory. The theory is chitta, vritti, nirodha. When you know theory very well, you will apply the same principle in the practice. Nothing else is needed. This is very simple. Anapanasati is very simple. Observation of the breath is very simple. And the only thing is you have to make your intent very clear, very strong. This particular, whatever I am going to do, I don't want to entertain any kind of objective mind. It is easy for you when you do meditation, when you start meditation, because the intent opens the path. If you don't intend strongly, the energy is again, the material mind slowly comes, it creates distance, it takes a lot of time to go inward. When you make yourself intent, yes, this is the time, I don't want to entertain any mind stuff, that's it. Easy for you to travel inside. Because by doing intent, the disturbed thoughts, whatever is there, it goes out. So, my dear friends, this is the definition of yoga, chitta, vritti, nirodha. This is the definition of yoga or the meditation. Now, dear friends, we will come to the little bit science, the objective part of our own self. As I told you, the greater side, the invisible side of our own consciousness, how we travel slowly, slowly. This is the physical part we are going to experience, the dense part of our own self, the physical reality. So, my dear friends, this is the physical part of brain we are going to see. The brain is 1.2 kg tissue containing 1.1 trillion cells. Most of the persons who study the science, they know all these things. The 100 billion neurons. It is like a biocomputer. As I told you that creation is a wonderful. See the beauty, see the dynamics of your own physical body, how it has been created to experience the non-physical part of your own self in the physical. We need all these things. What a beautiful creation. Everything creates in the thought forms, in the higher dimensions. Then only it happens in the physical form. Even the brain, everything, whatever the structure, the entire physical body also, the same blueprint already creates in the astral forms. Then slowly it comes into the material and to the Panchabhutas, in the element, to the elements, everything happens. The body creates. So everything designed wonderfully. So we will explore a few things about our brain because this is the main part because we experience whole human life because this is the signal area. Every neuron transmits signals through the thoughts to other neurons. In neuroscience, when neurons fire together, they wire together. It means, see, now, whatever the signals you are thinking in the mind, your brain receives the signals from the mental part of your own self. Whatever the ripples happens in the mind, naturally it comes to the brain, then slowly you experience physically. The brain receives the signals from the mind. That's why it means the mind is the brain in action. The mind is the invisible part, is the brain in action. It receives the signals. As I told you, the mobile phone, it is like a physical component. It's a physical material part of your own self. Whatever the ripples, whatever you think, it flows down towards the physical because it is a receiver. Your brain is a receiver because it is attached to your higher energy field. Naturally, whatever we think, it receives the signals from the mental part. Naturally, it through the neurons, it distributes everywhere. Everything, that's why, my dear friends, everything happening in the physical body is happening in the non-physical self. Remember this thing, whatever happening in the physical body is happening in the non-physical self. Without that, this cannot be experienced. If you separate yourself from the body cannot do anything. The whole operation system is in the non-physical part. That's why I told you the non-physical part is experiencing the physical part through the brain. The signals comes, it receives to the etheric body. The brain signals comes to the etheric body, it receives the signals and it distributes to the neurons. So continuously you experience. That's why you have to slow down your mind. If you continuously bombarding with your thoughts, the brain it's like if you scan your brain, it's like a heavy truck in a metropolitan cities when you see from the top of that. Because continuously there is lots and lots of energy movements is going on. So much of things, your brain is like heavy traffic, in a dense traffic. When you do meditation, slow down your mind naturally, your brain waves will slow down. Your brain waves naturally slow down. Your brain receives tremendous energy. This is the science, my dear friends. When you use most of the energy to the brain naturally, it gets affected. Not only to the brain, because the entire body itself. Because whatever the signals you are receiving through the brain, you are sending the same signals to your body. Your neurons will go into your cells, and where the everything storehouse, you are creating all the dockyards into your cell structure, where all the negative, the frozen thoughts will go and create the cell structure, and same kind of disturbances will happen in the body. The negative feedback it gives, that actually happens in the negative. Same thoughts will go and give the same signals to your cells. After a number of years, naturally, it gets disturbed. If you are sending fearful thoughts continuously, bombarding to your body, naturally your body plays into that particular system, that particular experience. Because that's why, my dear friends, you have to separate the mind first. Because whatever the body is experiencing physically, it happens in the mind first. So you have to slow down the mind first. So we have a left and right brain, because you can see the creation is so beautiful. We have a material and the spiritual part of our own self in the body also. So the brain, the left brain is always logical, sequential, rational, analytical, objective. Because we want to experience the reality in day-to-day life, we must use this brain. Simultaneously, we have a right brain also. It is the random, intuitive, holistic, synthesizing, subjective, not objective, subjective. Look at it as a whole. That's why when you train your mind, when you illuminate your right brain, naturally all these things will happen when you do meditation regularly. Natural, because the entire incarnations, many incarnations, depends on only on left brain. We never step into the right side of our own gifts, which is always there in the right brain. By squeezing all our energies to the left brain, you don't send any kind of energy. So that means there is no part of the right brain illuminated. So naturally what happens? The components, the entire things are there, gifts are there, but you are not lightening up. You are not illuminating. By doing meditation regularly, naturally what happens when the mind slows, when the left brain slows down, naturally the energy goes entire your system, slowly, all the gifts will be illuminated. There is a great thing, creation. Because by creation we have everything inside us, inside the body itself. The body knows entire thing, but we are not giving any chance to the body to heal its own self, because it's a tremendous gifts are there inside, but we are not utilizing it. Only thing we do is continuously bombarding to the thoughts. That's the only thing we know. So my dear friends, everyone should every day, even after meditation also in your day-to-day life, you have to observe your mind, what is happening exactly inside, my dear friends. If you do regular meditation also, even after 10 years, 15 years, if you don't take care of your mind, what exactly happening in your inside, if you cannot watch yourself, there will be a problems. Because you have to watch continuously what exactly going inside. No master will come and see your mind always. You have to watch ourselves what exactly going inside. When you watch, when you recognize what exactly going inside, naturally you have a grip. When you know, naturally the invisible part, the illusion part will go away. When you put some torchlight on that, slowly it goes away. Otherwise, it comes and it acts as it is. The individual part is always there with you. So even regular meditator also, they have to continually watch their thoughts and emotions, what is exactly happening inside. Same, the observer part, as you do meditation, when you become an observer, even your day-to-day life also, you become more observer. You must note that every time what is exactly happening inside. If anything is, your mind is going wrongly, when you watch, it comes back. So, my dear friends, these are the left and right brains in our own system. So, left half of the cortex is the language, logic, and science. The right cortex of the recognition, feeling, and art. The left is workout problems and impatience always because the continuous thought process. The right sees the answers to the problem and passes to the left. See, when you do meditation, naturally this happens. So that's why, my dear friends, by stilling the left brain through the meditation, doors of the perceptions open to the quantum field. That's what the scientists recently, these are the research papers. The scientists, they are doing a lot of research on the mind and the body. Why they are telling is by stilling the left brain, by doing meditation, naturally you will explore to the higher consciousness of your own self. Only one thing is there in the middle. Just remove the mental part. Just avoid it. Just remove the strings of mind waves aside, and you see the greater reality of your own self. When connected to the quantum field, that means your own higher frequency, your own greater self, and when connected to the quantum field, everything appears much brighter, colors more intense, very real. That means you are in a different dimension. Your life makes naturally goes in a different way because you experience that higher reality being in a human form itself. Every day, as I told you, the greater part is always there with you, but only the mental strings. You have to remove the mind every day and sit silently and go inside. So, my dear friends, and the meditation increases activity of prefrontal cortex means this is the main, like a CEO, the third eye part, which creates happiness, relaxation, and emotional balance. All these parts are there in the right brain, but we don't use it. Unless you do meditation, you don't come to realize these are the great gifts inside your own self, your own physical body. Meditation practice results in a high levels of serotonin. Neurotransmitters are there. You can see the pink, the serotonin pathway. This is the most important thing in our brain. This neurotransmitter gives the good mood, good sleep, better digestion, so many things. You need not to eliminate all this. You only have to slow down your mind. When you go deeper into yourself, naturally, all these things will be illuminated. It happens naturally, my dear friends. So the researchers recently, the brain activity, what I told you, the different waves of our mental activity, like beta, alpha, theta, and delta. See the mental activity when you do work in a day-to-day life, you use most of the thoughts, like 60,000 thoughts if you release. Your mind fluctuates, your thought waves fluctuates like 18 to 14 seconds per second. This is the cycle. So when you are in a rest or good mood or calm, naturally the mental waves, the energy waves slows down. That means you are not using extra energy. It means 14 to 7 seconds. The third one is theta. Here the meditation comes. When you do start meditation, naturally your mind waves slows down. You are more energetic because you are not utilizing your mind. You are slowly going back. By reducing your thoughts, naturally you are creating an energy circuit with the in your own self, because the consciousness is not fluctuating. Consciousness is becoming a flame like a without any wind, like a diya, undisturbed light. Slowly, slowly you are going back. That means here the when you are in a meditation, it comes down to 7 to 4. Again, if you go into deeper yourself in a samadhi state, where there is no thoughts at all, where there is no disturbance at all. So these are the things happens in meditation and without meditation. These are the brain scans, my dear friends, a meditative brain and the here and the baseline, the non-meditators. There is a lot of gray matter when you don't do meditation. See the brain part, illuminated brain and the meditated brain. So there is a lot of gray matter in here, the baseline, the meditative brain, the most illuminated thing. You can see here. So, my dear friends, these are the few scientific points of view to the physical, non-physical to physical, again the physical to the non-physical. We are always connected. The only thing is the mind part, the regular, continuous, the disturbance part of our mind. We have to reduce the thoughts and go introvert ourselves. Then slowly, slowly we'll come to our own greater part of ourselves. Subscribe this Spiritual India and Spiritual Science magazines. So wonderful magazines because every issue you will experience, you will explore so much of spiritual wisdom through these two magazines. Please subscribe and you can see so much information here in whatever is happening in the entire world. It will be published in this magazine because there are so many concepts, different concepts like science and spirituality and like masters like Osho. The great wisdom is always there because you will be connected. When you do Swadhyaya, you will be always connected to the light. Either they are in the physical or non-physical, but their words, their teachings always inspires you. They clears your lot of doubts. Whatever the doubts inside you, perhaps naturally, when you read all these great literature, they will illuminate your mind through their teachings. Because they spent entire their life, dedicated their entire life, and they spend entire their life in the spiritual arena. Naturally, those words, if you listen, they give a lot of information and wisdom. So please subscribe, my dear friends, to Spiritual India's Spiritual Science. So because this is the by doing this subscription, not only we want to share this wisdom to all the members. The more copies it goes into the market, the more people value of this magazine. By reading once Osho Times magazine, I am here now. 20 years of my journey, just one magazine, Osho Times, changed my entire life. Who knows what is there inside? What is the wisdom? It almost changes in fraction of just like that. It shifts your entire consciousness. So thank you very much, all the Telugu team.